Former aide for Dr. Jill Biden abruptly refusing to testify in the investigation into the alleged cover-up of her husband's mental decline while he served as president.
Brooke Singman is here with all the details. Hi, Brooke.
Hey guys, that's right. Jill Biden's right-hand man, Anthony Bernal, is refusing to appear before the House Oversight Committee today. Bernal is known for being Jill Biden's quote-unquote work husband, and he said yesterday that he would not sit down for a closed-door interview with the committee. His decision comes after lawmakers say he previously agreed to do so. Committee Chairman James Comer putting out this statement saying, quote, now that the White House has waived executive privilege, it is abundantly clear that Anthony Bernal, Jill Biden's so-called work husband, never intended to be transparent about Joe Biden's cognitive decline. I will promptly issue a subpoena to compel Anthony Bernal's testimony before the committee. But former Biden aide Neera Tanden did testify to the committee on Tuesday, and a source confirmed to Fox that she did admit to being authorized to direct auto pen signatures. Now, that auto pen replicated Biden's signature on documents like pardons, memos, and more. But Tanden was not sure who gave the final approval. A new Fox News poll shows that 52% of Americans believe it's important for Congress to investigate the use of Biden's auto pen, and 50% want to investigate Biden advisors who made key decisions. Meanwhile, the committee is still waiting to hear from Biden's former doctor, Kevin O'Connor, in addition to two other former advisors. President Trump has also instructed the Justice Department to launch a separate investigation into the alleged cover-up. Guys.
Brooke Singman live for us. Brooke, thank you. With that, let us bring in former press secretary for the First Lady, Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. It is Michael LaRosa. And Michael, great to have you on the program. You were hired by Anthony Bernal for the Biden campaign. You are, in fact, his roommate on that campaign. What is Anthony Bernal hiding?
Well, first of all, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that this is not rescheduling for, a personal family emergency or anything. But if it's not, it was a pretty bonehead move because the entire country, the news cycle was devoted to the Iran engagement and President Trump. People kind of forgot about this. Now everybody's talking about it, or at least we are today. And it really does a disservice to the Bidens. And it kind of escalates and confirms suspicions that the Republicans already had. And if you have nothing to hide, there should be no reason not to cooperate. My best advice to him would be to over-cooperate, just like Neera did. And, show, don't tell.
Speaking like a true communications professional, use what happened in Iran as your cover, because nobody's paying attention. If Iran's going on, he had an opportunity and he didn't jump on it. Yeah, it
would have went under the radar, and people kind of forgot about it. Even mainstream reporters kind of forgot about it until news broke that he is now going to be compelled, and that's sort of an escalation, and it only raises eyebrows, unfortunately, and does a real disservice to Dr. B and
Michael,
President Biden.
Let's step back for a moment. How powerful was your roommate? I mean, that's what I'm going to call him for 3 years. Was your roommate, Anthony Bernal, in the Biden White House?
I don't think anybody would dispute the characterization that he was probably the most powerful human being inside the Biden's orbit and inside the White House. And I don't say that with any slight or with any degree of pride. It's just a fact, and I don't think anybody would argue with that because nobody wants to say no to a first lady. And Anthony, when he spoke, it was hard to tell where the line began and ended to whether he was speaking for Dr. B or not. So he was pretty powerful when it came to guarding the Biden's privacy, and that was ultimately what did the Bidens in, was this knee-jerk, reflexive move by the culture of the staff to reflexively sort of dodge, stonewall, evade when it comes to transparency. And it was the subject of a lot of colorful disagreements between Anthony and myself, where I was always want to err on the side of full disclosure on anything, as dumb as dog bites. But there was always a reluctance to be upfront about even the smallest things that drove me crazy.
Well, let me get you on a big thing, because Neera Tanden said she had to obtain approval to use the auto pen from the president's inner circle. Michael, Was Anthony Bernal ultimately in charge of giving the final approval for the auto pen?
I highly doubt it. I mean, at least I would like to believe that. I like to believe that he wasn't. He would have no reason to be over there. And Neera was not there was not the staff secretary in the last year and a half. Somebody else was. So it will be interesting to see if they decide to subpoena the person who held the job of staff secretary for the last year and a half.
The big question. If Anthony Bernal is forced to testify under oath, is there any way he could testify truthfully that he did not notice Joe Biden's cognitive decline?
Well, Todd, it's hard for me to say, only because, look, in my 3 years, it wasn't I didn't experience that. Now, I left at the end of 2022. Anthony had more access and proximity to the Bidens in their private time, in their private spaces. And so he would know, and he would have had his own observations, and he would have to be truthful about that.
Yes, we are waiting to see the response to the subpoena, but one has to assume that if he did not show up voluntarily, he's probably going to fight the subpoena. We'll see how that all plays out. Michael LaRosa, thank you for your time and your insight on the Biden White House. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.